Welcome back to another Bannerlord video. If you're new to the channel, basically what I do is I just share modded gameplay, and this series is just my fantasy overhaul, and I've lost count of how many mods I've got running, but it's somewhere in between 75 to 100. What I'm going to be doing in this episode is just some more wars, and I'm not too sure what to do with this series. Basically what it is just I'm just displaying what's possible with all these mods, and I'm playing on an older version because that way I don't have to deal with any updates, and this playthrough's been going really smooth for me. And the reason I show the upgrading and stuff is just to kind of display the troops. What I'm doing is thinking about what I should do here. I'm thinking about attacking them in the open, but it's a much harder battle. Like if you're gonna lose 35 troops sneaking in, might not be as bad as losing a couple hundred in a fight. So sometimes I break in. Basically what I did was I overhauled these troops to be a little more
well, here we are. I once thought friendship
a little more unique to the cultures. If you look at it, the gear is modded, so
don't think I won't kill you
I can't say if it's accurate or not. I just kind of made what looks cool. Some characters are inspired by historical figures, but for the most part it's just what I made. For a couple weeks I was just making troops, and for me that's how I was gaming. I just took a break from gameplay and was just creating troops. I was kind of having fun with it. So anyway, let's get ready for this war. Got a little bit of terrain here to hide behind, so I'm gonna try to use it to my advantage, and I'm gonna use this technique here. This is the technique from Tactical Enlightenment. I stole his move, or I didn't steal it. He makes tutorials, so I just want to give a shout out because I'm gonna be using it here. So basically, he breaks down what you're supposed to do is you set up on the outside of this hill, and as the enemies come over top of the hill, you light them up with spears and arrows. I got a couple pike squares here, just in case any cavalry comes over the hill. And what I'm doing is, you see these peaks, what I'm going to do is use these peaks to my advantage, to where my arrows, my archers can get good shots. And as the cavalry moves in, I can pull them back in between. You see how there's room in between the pike squares? Basically, once, if a big cav charge comes in, I can pull back these bowmen behind the pikemen to that last spot. So as you can see, there's 3 whoops. We call those whoops when on dirt bike tracks, and it just means a hill. You can see it's kind of like a hill that's like a wave line. It's kind of going up and down, up and down. Yeah, I got all my archers on the peaks of those hills because I'm at the very back here. I don't want to be pinned up against the exit. You always want to have a couple positions to fall back on. Just like playing Call of Duty Zombies. You always want to have another door to open, just in case the zombies overrun you. I'm gonna put my spearmen there so that they are the first contact. They'll be throwing their spears at the guys when they come over the hill. I want to start doing more of this RTS camera, but I got to get used to the mouse and keyboard because I'm from console and I still play on my controller. I prefer gameplay with the controller, but I use my mouse and key for like the inventory and stuff. Just like most games I play, I got a hybrid style where I've like learned how to throw my controller down and quickly switch up. Look at them, they're not even close with those arrows. Look at all them Mongolians. I shouldn't quote South Park there, I was get myself in trouble. Yeah, look at all these guys. I made some of the troops like they're kind of based on Mongolian. Basically, like Khuzait is now like Japan, China, and Mongolian troops. They're not just one type. It's like a mix, and it's because obviously there's no way to make all the different cultures. Like there's not enough room to make a tree of Japanese and a tree of Chinese and. So now that I'm looking at my troops, they kind of do look like stereotypes a little bit, but I just used modded gear and kind of made some like I made some what would you call it, like some easily recognizable troops. Like it's very easy to see them from a long ways away. When you see the hats, you know who it is. The Romans, or the Empire, looks very unique. They got a very signature Roman Greek type look to them. Let's see, the Battanians are now like Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings style troops. And they're all mixes. It's not like, even the Lord of the Rings troops aren't based on real troops. They just have, you know, the Gondor armor and Rohirrian stuff and the helmets and all that. But I didn't try to like recreate everything. I just used it for inspiration. And it's just like those are the mods that's available. I was more so going for like this custom Warhammer troop tree, right? That has like these Diablo 2 type characters. Some people with magic spells and other things. So what I'm doing here is I'm using a classic hit and run, which is like used by the Mongolians and Native Americans. I don't know too much about Mongolians actually, but the Lakota, specifically Crazy Horse, had this technique called a hit and run, and they would fight. They had repeaters. They're fighting with repeaters. So the legend is that he would sometimes go on his own, other times he would have some troops with him, and he would ride around the enemy and ride past them to make them deplete their ammo. And then once some of their troops were reloading, they would bring the entire fleet by and they would hit and run them. Sometimes they would go in circles, which you'd almost think that friendly fire would be an issue, but the techniques did defeat like a couple of fleets of the military, the U.S. military. So it was effective in some way for its time. But for Bannerlord here, it works really good with Hercules, and you can use it with melee or archers. Sometimes I'll take everybody and do it. And like what you want to do is like circle the enemy, but you don't want to... Oops, I accidentally moved all my troops here. I kind of wasn't paying attention. Damn, now I gotta reset them all. When you do the hit and runs, what you want to avoid is like... So your cavalry is going to be quite a bit slower than your character. For whatever reason, they don't seem to reach max speed or whatever. So you don't want to angle them into a big crowd, because if you bring your cavalry into a big crowd, you're going to lose a lot of horses, and then anybody who gets knocked off their horse is basically a dead man walking. So if you're going to use this technique, what I would do is actually clip the wings, and so you take your cavalry and you make sure that they're only swiping the crowd, so they're not going straight through, they're only clipping the edges, and you keep circling around the very perimeter of the enemy troops. And what happens is you end up losing a lot less troops. If they have spears and throwing items, they'll use those. And what you want to do is you want to hit and run, just like it's called. You want to hit, you want to run, and you want to get back to your formation. And what you're doing is you'll break up the enemy's formation, you'll spread them out, and then you'll get some kills. Now I gotta set all these guys up again. I'm playing without UI here just for like... I don't like how much UI Bannerlord has. It kind of gets in my way of seeing some things. So I do it for cinematic reasons too. Immersion, maybe. See, they're just wasting arrows. You can see how far they're shooting. Most likely they won't get any kills with those. Holy shit. Now's a good time to fire. See if once they come over this hilltop here, this first wave is gonna light them up. They're being a little bit timid. I'm doing the same thing, the hit and run, but I'm going solo. You can see they're firing at me quite a bit, but what you gotta do is maintain top speed, and if you do a little bit of a zigzag, very rarely will they hit you. I always mess up when I crash into like a tree or something and it takes away your speed. Once you stop, you'll get hit with like 10 arrows. You just gotta stay moving, and that's really effective. Just throwing a few pop shots in the air. Sometimes I get a kill with it. Holy shit, look at all those arrows. Now, you see, all my cavalry is coming. I got melee and the archers. I want to make sure they're all following me. Sometimes I think they actually keep the formation, if that makes sense. Like if you got them in a lineup, they're gonna try to move in a lineup. So you watch this. I just turned them into a square so that they won't be very spread out. You want to compact charge. You don't want lines, because that's how you're gonna lose more horses. You see what I mean? I'm just keeping them right on the edge of their cavalry. Works better on archers or infantry, even, where you just take out a couple guys at a time. You chip away at their shoulder, at their shield wall. Holy, look at all those arrows. The only reason I'm throwing from so far here is they have such a giant herd here that there's a good chance I'm gonna hit something. Just gotta get the right distance. You see, I don't think I've lost any troops yet. We haven't gotten many kills, but we're landing shots. Oh yeah, we're getting a couple kills. Some of my companions got legendary items too, so we got the advantage as far as the insta kill goes. Oh, we lost Saladin. Oh, we're getting a lot of kills here. A lot of horses down anyways. Alright, I'm just gonna pull them back. Seems like we've only lost no horses down by the looks of it. This is a deadly group. If these guys were more aggressive, we would be in trouble. Big group of like Chinese and Mongolian. Looks like the ground guards and some mounted cavalry. Yeah, if these guys were smart with their horses, they could have, like if they were circling us, we'd be dead in a short time.
Cavalry, charge!
Whenever I send a charge, I always try to call them back. I'll usually do that for a quick, couple kills. You do a charge, catch them off guard, and then you put everyone back in formation. I might have to double check to make sure all these guys have working bows. So I feel like they should be a lot more dangerous than they are. Maybe they're out of arrows, or might be something else going on. But oh well, I'll take the easy game this time. It's been a bit of a struggle getting my kingdom started because with this diplomacy mod, I've been at non-stop war with like 2 to 4 cultures at a time. Get some!
Hold fire!
Oh, nice hit. Got a few samurai in here as well. So basically what I can do is change leaders anytime to one of my other members. I might start doing that more so I can use other characters, because every character has their own weapon set, something similar to what someone from their culture would have. What I mean by that is, like, I'm not going to give Hercules like a samurai sword or something like that. So he's got his club, but I do have like my Oda Musashi and King Arthur who have signature weapons. I'm thinking I'm gonna make a character named Thor too, who's basically gonna be like my Hercules character, except he's gonna have thunder axes that he throws. So basically my fellowship is like they're all like legendary, demigod, or whatever you want to call them. A lot of them have special abilities. What I should do is make a video of just me and my 40 companions to see how many looters we could take on. Like, watching the NPCs with superpowers is actually pretty entertaining. So the mod list is in the description if anybody wants to try to set something up like this. Leave a comment and I can try help you get started. All the mods and the versions are in the description. I would download them from Nexus. What you don't want to do is use Steam, or what's that mod manager called? Let me think here for a second. I used to use it. Vortex, that's what it's called. You do not want to use that, and you do not want to use Steam mods because they update automatically. And one day you'll go to play and it'll say this mod has been changed, and then when you load your game it'll crash on you. That's one thing I should do, is make some videos on how to keep your save games. Oh, here we go. I'm just gonna try to take out this little fleet here. They're just looking a little suspicious over here. So basically, if anything updates, or if Bannerlord even updates, all you have to do is revert the mod or the beta, whichever version of Bannerlord you were previously on. All you do is reinstate it and then try to load it, and it'll work. So when things crash, it doesn't mean it's gone forever. You just gotta get the mod. You just gotta match up the versions. Holy shit, look at all these all this cavalry. You'll just have to get the versions back and then go to load, and it should work just fine. So like if Bannerlord updates, let's say it were to update on me today, and then I load and it doesn't work, I just go install the previous version and load it up and it'll work. And now if you want to go play on the newer version, you just start a new game. And the trick is basically you got to do the whole install, the reinstall, if you want to switch versions. I don't mind waiting. I'm gonna do a newer playthrough after this one's done, but I'm like, it's just never crashed on me, so I got no reason to stop playing.
Soldiers, move! Troops, move!
What you could also do is put your save games like in a folder on your desktop. Alright, we got room for one final move. You see what I did there is I set up 3 points of attack. Now I told everyone to follow me, because what they're going to do now is everybody's going to charge in to this circle from 3 different angles. And we'll make pretty short work of these guys. They're pretty low level guys. They got some samurai who are pretty OP in this game. Basically in this playthrough, and it's not my decision, it's just I mostly built the characters like on appearance, but the samurai armor was just stacked for, what do you call it, for defense and speed. So some players are really overpowered, but that's just the mod that came with it. What I've done is I've kind of made my own realistic battle mod, which is like something I can't get access to because of all the other mods I have. They'd have to be compatible. So what I did was I turned damage all the way down on items, so now it takes longer to kill. Arrows do less damage, crossbows, throwing items do less damage. I believe I slowed down the reload speed on crossbows. And then what I did was I put in a momentum factor, and what that means is I gave all troops a very minor heal on kill. So what that means is if you got 2 formations going head to head and one of them gets a bunch of kills, then obviously that gives them, that's the momentum factor. It's like the team that's winning is gonna actually keep their troops alive longer too. So as reinforcements come, you know, your troops are gonna be a little more refreshed after the first battle. So with less damage and that momentum factor, battles can last a little bit longer. You can even think about doing like a life leech, which means they get like 1% heal every time they land a hit. I know that sounds silly to add to a RBM, what do you call it? Trying to replicate a RBM, but there's no other way to factor in momentum, like when you the confidence and the rush you get after destroying a fleet. That's the only way. And so what that means is like your troops would actually be able to stay alive for a lot longer if you play the field right. As long as they don't get any lethal blows, they will continue. Looks like they're pretty much on the run now. So basically I'm just trying something new and adding some commentary because I don't got much to lose at this point. The series ain't getting a lot of engagement and stuff, so may as well give it a try. But if you have any suggestions, like, yeah, hit me up, let me know. how I can improve, what you would rather see, if you would rather see some of the political stuff get cut out, or do you want to see more of that? Do you want me to talk about what I'm doing as I do it? I'll keep releasing episodes no mic, just because it's quite a bit easier to make and release those videos. And for people who don't want to hear me yakking about nothing. But what I'm gonna do is try to break down my techniques. It's kind of something I'm new to doing, but I got like 4 or 5 tricks that I use. And whenever I use a technique from another channel, what I'll do is I'll say what channel that is, and if you want to go check them out, that would be the best bet for trying to learn those. Because I'm not a Bannerlord expert, or I'm not a historian, or what else? You know, I'm not an expert at any of that stuff. I just started gaming to keep myself busy, and the coding and editing keeps my mind occupied. It's ridiculous how fast he can swing the spear now. I think what I'm going to be doing after this war here is I'm going to be making some new characters. I want to make Theseus and Thor. I think there was some more I had in mind too. The problem is I got so many companions that it's actually a chore to level them up.
Infantry! Move forward! Make a shield wall! Infantry! Forward!
What I'm doing is I'm just slowly setting up my last attack. I could just send in everybody and completely wipe them out, but this way I'm gonna get less casualties. Yeah, from watching that that one dude who I mentioned, he really shows how you can take your time and set things up. And so since I started watching his channel, I've changed my gameplay quite a bit from a more one-dimensional or a two-dimensional approach where I was using a lot of charges, you know, lines, charges, shield walls, 1 and 2 formations, like utilizing all 8 formations here and taking your time setting things up, using different formations for different things, and using the terrain. This all makes a huge difference. And what I'm trying to do is I tried to swipe them with my cavalry. It didn't work, so you see I pulled them back out instead of trying to push through. What I'm doing is just waiting for everybody to get in position. Somebody just landed something. Yeah, look at, I got no chance. You can see all my companions are getting tons of kills. Leonidas with the enchanted, what do you call it, javelin. What the Greek would call the bolt of Zeus. Those extended pikes really stick out. They actually work too. Like if you get something that will increase your, well, what should I call it, the crafting length, you take a pike, and make it, you just enlarge it, and it works, man. They can stand 10 feet back and stab with it. They can get your horse. Pike squares are pretty hard to deal with. And basically what I had to do was I equipped it onto my troops with my little warband. So it was an easy pikeman fix. Once I get one of those helmets, I'm gonna make me a Leper King companion. Seven guys are guarding this place. Alright, one more quick battle. I was just gonna do one battle, but this one should be a quick one. 7 troops.
Charge!
This one's not even worth the battle music. There's some, I call them Burgundian Cuckoo Knights, but what they are is just the Cuckoo Knight from Elden Ring with a Saleh helmet. Yeah, some people get really mad about some of the armor not being like perfect, or you know, sometimes I'll run like a simulation and I'll put shields on my samurai just so I can have a shield wall, and sometimes I just forget. I forget that I added something like that. It, like just for messing around mostly, but some people get pretty offended. So I try to keep things a little more accurate after I got a bunch of hate comments. People who are mad. So that's what I try to do now, is not equip items that aren't supposed to be on specific soldiers. If I want a shield wall, what I'll do is just grab some troops with shields. But you know, that's one thing I want to do, is like I want to have an army of like samurai, Spartans, and knights. And not too many mix, and I don't mean like dozens and dozens of different soldiers, I just mean like those 3. And then see what I can do with them, like have a Spartan shield wall with some Burgundian pikemen and some samurai archers, you know, and see what kind of formations we could do. But I've been struggling just to stay alive here. So what I did also, the enemies have been made overpowered as well as my characters. One sec, I gotta try to position for like a screenshot. There's one of my companions, she's got like a harp bow. So anyway, that's pretty much all for this episode. But if you're watching the series, let me know what you think, what you would like to see, maybe what you don't want to see. I've been doing a couple different things, but what I realized was that the best thing to do is make things more gameplay, easier to edit. I tried adding some like storyline type stuff, but it was like, it made things a little too complicated, a little too hard. So some episodes, like, you'll notice if anybody tries to actually follow the series, you'll see a couple episodes get a little bit out of control. Where I try adding some AI storyline and different things, but what I was just trying to do was just like find a way to blend some of these characters' stories and some of their quotes into the gameplay. Because all these guys like Merlin the Wizard and King Arthur, Hercules, like some of them are legendary, mythical. There's people like Braveheart, Joan of Arc, you know, Crazy Horse, Saladin, Sun Tzu, Mayoda Musashi. Like, these guys are all pretty legendary dudes. And women, we got Rani of Jhansi and Joan of Arc. But they all got some brilliant quotes and philosophy, and I don't know, I think their stories should be told a little more. And if there's someone out there who could actually make a Fellowship movie of these characters, they they should do that. Let's see it like Narnia or Wizard of Oz, but it's Hercules, King Arthur, and Joan of Arc, and Merlin the Wizard. Oh, my dog's waking up here. They were actually pretty quiet today. They usually start mucking around as soon as I pull out the headset. Just doing some shopkeep stuff. The reason I keep this stuff in is so you can see what the modded gameplay is like, what the shop actually looks like. Some episodes I think I'm going to boil down to just battles. But anyway, that's all. Thank you for watching. I will catch you in the next one.